Hello, my name is Jared, and I teach animation and storytelling here at Wonderland Education Center. Today, we're going to be looking at two animation principles. Animation principles are things that can help us make our animations look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more fluid, and help the viewer understand what they're looking at. So first we're going to look at squash and stretch. Squash and stretch basically is when an object is in motion, it's going to stretch thin, or when it runs into something, it's going to squish and squash and be fatter than it actually is. So to demonstrate that, we're going to do some animations. So if you want to follow along, go ahead, open up your app and start a new animation file. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new one. I'll just call it Squash and Stretch. All right, so in the top of my screen, I'm going to start off with a ball, just regular at the top. And then as we move on to the next frame, this ball is going to move down and towards the bottom, and then it's going to bounce back up. So as it moves down, the object is in motion, so it's going to stretch out and pull as it gets longer. So it'll start off like a normal circle, and then it'll get longer and longer as it moves faster. And then once it hits the bottom, it's going to kind of act like a pancake. So it's going to hit the bottom and flatten out as it goes, and that's called squash. And then it'll rebound, kind of like a bouncy ball. So it'll hit the bottom and then bounce back up and shoot. So after it squashes, then it stretches again. So now it's shooting out more like a long pancake that's being shot. And then as it slows down again, it'll return to a ball shape. And then we can go ahead and play that back and see what it looks like. Then we got some squash and stretch. So you can see as the ball is moving down, it looks like it's moving faster because it's being stretched and pulled out. So it's actually something that we see in real life, but it's a little bit hard to see with the naked eye, but we can do it in animation a lot easier. Think about somebody jumping. If somebody's going to jump, they're going to start out standing, and then you have to go down in a squat and then release up. So in real life, there is squash and stretch. You squash down and then you shoot up and you stretch out as you go. So you can also implement that with maybe a character that you want to jump, or a superhero that's about to launch off and fly. They're gonna squash down and then stretch up, and that can be used in all different kinds of animations. All right, so if we want to take this a little bit further, and squash and stretch can be used even to some great extremes. So right now I have my ball bouncing and it goes up and then just kind of stops, but I can also make it look like it's going really, really fast. So we're going to continue this, and it's going to stretch out and stretch across the screen. And get really stretchy as it goes. And what we're doing now is the stretchier we make it, the faster it looks like it's going. So if you want a ball, maybe it's like a super bouncy ball, and it's going to fly all the way across the screen before losing some energy and falling down to the bottom. So we can go ahead and play that back and see what it looks like. And it looks like it's going really, really fast. So that's one way that you can implement squash and stretches, by making something go or look like it's going really fast. The second principle of animation that we're going to look at in this video today is called appeal. So when you have an object or a character in your animation, or you want it to be appealing to the audience, this can make it easier for the viewer to understand what's going on. This can make it easier for somebody to know which character is which, and just make your video happier and more fun, more engaging to watch. So if we have our ball, how can we make this ball a little bit more appealing? So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm going to give it a hat. So I'm going to add a new layer. So on this layer, if I need to erase anything, it's not going to affect the ball beneath it. So everything I'm doing is adding on to the top of it. And I think I'll do a different color. Let's do a blue hat. All right, so he's gonna start off with this hat on the top. And this is going to make him look more like a character rather than just a regular ball. So he'll start off with the hat, and then this hat is going to follow him all the way through. And as the ball stretches, since the hat is on top of the hat is also going to stretch with him. And this is going to imply a lot more motion and a lot more motion in the character that we have. So sometimes it'll look a little funky as you're animating it. So when you squash it down, this hat isn't going to look like it did at the start. But that's okay, because once it plays back, the viewer is not going to see it as much and it's going to look a lot more natural. So the hat that I'm drawing right now looks really wide and really fat, but it's going to be normal once we play it back. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like. And now our ball has a hat. So now he looks like an actual character. Maybe he's a wizard or something like that. Became a ball at some point, and now he's a ball with a wizard hat. So that is how we can give our characters a little bit more appeal. So you can do this with a hat, or maybe you give your character a mustache or some fun shoes. Some sort of symbol so that the viewer knows what character they're looking at. Especially when you get a lot more characters, it can get kind of confusing with who is who. So giving them a specific symbol is going to make it easier to follow. So what we looked at today was squash and stretch and appeal. So squash and stretch was when something, an object is in motion, it's going to stretch out when it's going fast and squash down when it hits something. And then we added some appeal to our character and made them a little bit more likable, more enjoyable to watch. So you can do this with any of your animations. Maybe start out with a ball, maybe you try a stick man or anything like that. Have fun animating. Thanks for watching.